me, Mario!
Super Mario 64, released in 1996 by Nintendo, is a game in the Super Mario series of platformer games. It was the first 3D game in the series, and is considered one of the most iconic games in the entire Mario franchise. Now, the way you play the game is with an N64 controller. Perhaps the most important button on the controller is the A button. You use the A button to jump, which is the most important action in the game. To complete the game, you're intended to collect 70 out of 120 stars. Stars are objects placed at the end of a small path as a sort of trophy for completing the objective in one of the 15 courses, or secret courses, which are located in the hub castle, which is the setting of the game. Almost all of these in some way want you to jump at some point, even just entering courses require jumps. However, for over 7 years, YouTuber Pen and Collect 2012 has been the primary contributor to ideas that have taken the full game run of 120 stars from over 200 A-presses down to 19. Yes, only 19 times do we actually have to jump when finishing the game. This is known as the A Button Challenge, or ABC for short. Now, why do all this? Why not just play the game casually? And what does this have to do with Mega Fave numbers? Well, let me explain that now. You could just play the game casually. However, say you're really good at the game and you're playing it competitively. Say you're so good at the game and you can play it fast, and just take one step further and you are speedrunning the game. Say speedrunning just isn't enough and you want to see just how perfect a playthrough could be using tools on an emulator. Well, now you have a tool-assisted speedrun. These are known as TASs. Bismuth has a great video explaining the difference between all of these and what it means to make them, so please check that out in the description. Anyway, with the Super Mario 64 A-Button Challenge, there's currently a work-in-progress task that's being made to be hopeful to complete the game without pressing A even once, doing so by collecting the minimum 70 stars. Because it needs to be picked which 50 stars to cut, some planning ahead must be done. There are some very obvious stars to leave out, such as stars that require the A button to be pressed or held. This includes any courses that require an A press to enter it. That gets rid of 24 stars immediately, 96 remain. Next, we can ignore any stars that are way too obviously slow. Similarly to the last cut, this includes any courses that take too long to enter. This gets rid of 14 stars, 82 remain. Before cutting any more stars, I'll explain one quick thing about the overall route that has to be taken into account. There are 5 stars in the game that are always guaranteed to be in a run, as they take no time to collect except for traveling to the character that's keeping the star. In the castle, there are 3 toads, one in the basement, one on the 2nd floor, and one on the 3rd floor. There are also 2 rabbits named Mips, one of which appears in the basement at 15 stars and one at 50 stars. Due to the ability to be collected almost instantly, they are essentially mandatory to collect. However, because the 2nd Mip star is well over halfway through the run, and in the basement, it is a detour, unless you plan accordingly. I won't go into the details about the actual reason behind this, but basically we collect 50 stars from downstairs before collecting the Mip's 2 star, and then collect 19 more upstairs without picking up any objects. Because of that last requirement, there is 1 star that's also cut, Mystery of the Monkey Cage. Splitting these from before Mips 2 and after Mips 2, you get 57 downstairs and 23 upstairs, cutting 7 stars downstairs and 4 stars upstairs, and we have the planned amounts at 50 and 19. Now to find out which 11 stars to cut. If you adjust the 81 star times for the actual amount of time it adds to a full game run, then cut the slowest ones, making sure to take into account opportunities to skip courses, then you can easily figure out which stars to cut. 2 people have already shown this is possible, however it requires a little extra amount of thinking to pick it out yourself. Now, myself being a lazy and mathematically inclined individual, wanted to automate the process of picking stars because surely it couldn't be that hard. 2 weeks later, and I was done with an early version of an automatic brute forcer I made on Google Sheets. How did I do it? Well, first, I listed out every combination of different amounts of stars I could collect in each of the courses. Then I left only the ones that were actually useful, meaning those that collected 70 stars total. Then I listed out all possible ways of collecting each number of stars in each course. Then I gathered all the times for each individual segment of each of the arrangements. Then I did formula magic to add all the sections together to make a list of every possible route's times. And then it tells me which is the best without me ever having to think why. Okay, Curio, so what? You made a really simple thing complicated and then made a video about it. Why? Well, the reason I wanted to make the video wasn't just about the process, but actually about the fact that I narrowed down so many theoretical possibilities to one single fastest route, although most of those possibilities were completely useless. And yeah, I kinda just wanted a reason to make a video related to a big number, so I thought, hey, why not talk about Super Mario 64? Okay, finally, the actual numbers. How many routes did I actually get rid of? Well, the original sheet I used to get the star arrangement numbers with an overly copied and pasted list of numbers counting up to less than 10 over and over and over again. After making the list, I narrowed it down immensely as the vast majority of them didn't collect 70 stars. There were 2 possibilities for Shifting Sandland, 6 for Hazy Maze Cave, 2 for Vanish Cap Under the Moat, 7 for Jolly Roger Bay, 5 for Big Boo's Haunt, 4 for Dire Docks, 2 for Bowser in the Fire Sea, 6 for Wet Dry World, 2 for Tiny Huge Island, 7 for Tall Mountain, and 8 for Snowman's Land, which is not the number in the title of the video. The thing is, I've actually left out one small thing from the calculations. I only used the different possible star counts I could have used instead of the actual amount of possible star arrangements of those stars. What I mean by this is that just because I select 6 stars in one course does not mean that's the only way to collect 6 stars in that course. So how many extra arrangements are there that I didn't take into account before? Well, there's 1 in Hazy Maze Cave, 7 in Jolly Roger Bay, 1 in Big Boo's Haunt, 2 in Wet Dry World, 1 in Tall Mountain, and 3 in Snowman's Land. This brings the long multiplication product from 4,515,840 up to 26,492,928. And that is the number in the title of the video. Thanks for watching. Also, please enjoy the couple of math facts I just put at the end of this video. I just didn't want to leave it any at that. And also, thanks for watching through my very first ever commentated video. I am really surprised at how difficult this is to do. I'm probably not going to make another one in the future, so this is all you'll have to just handle. Again, thanks for watching.